even become perhaps a little bit...
Whoa. I always take feedback well. So this has to be one of the most requested things that has come out of my day in the life of video, right? Actually, I'm lying to you. The most highly requested thing from that video was my banana curry. Everyone wanted to know how to make that banana curry. So if you're interested in me making the banana curry, then hit the subscribe button, because I might do it in the future if I hit a certain number of subscribers. Might do it live. And then that way you'll be able to make it too. But for this video, we're looking at what do I do on a day-to-day basis, right? What does a software engineer do? Maybe you're looking to get into this job and you want to see what your day would potentially look like, or what your work life would look like. Or you're currently in this role and you want to just compare and see what I do and stack up what I do against what you're doing. And maybe you want to see what percentages of time I'm spending coding versus yours, and see whether they're right or wrong. So without chatting any further, let's get into it. So I normally split up my work into two different categories, right? So the first one is the technical work that's in some way requires me to do coding or look at code. And then there's the non-technical work. And remember, just because I've put something under non-technical doesn't mean that it's not important. Sometimes, actually, that is far more important than any technical work I'll ever do. So let me break these down. We'll start with the technical work. So first up is feature work. Now, this is usually brand new, never been done before. To give you an example, it could be Amazon in its early days wanting to build a wish list so that people could save things they want to buy in the future. Right? Easy. Now, just because I've given you an example which is visual, doesn't mean that's the only kind of feature work there is. You could also build a feature in the back end, could be an infrastructure-related feature. So all of those things I would consider as feature work, and kind of work that I do, usually. Not always, but it's part of the work that I do. Now, a feature work could be on a brand new project, or it could be on a legacy project. Right? If it's a brand new project, people are like, "Ooh, excited, great," because they get to pick what they want to build with, etc., etc. And then there's legacy projects. For example, if you're building this wish list for Amazon, it would most definitely be a legacy project. Could be 5, 10, whatever years old, a year old. Debate around whether a legacy project would be 1 year old, but I've seen some code. Man. So, could be a brand new project, could be a legacy project. Over the last month, I've kind of worked on both of those, building features in a new project and in an old project, and they've both been really tough, right? The new one because I haven't worked with that technology, or it's new, or it's moved on since I last worked on it. And the legacy project because kind of spaghetti code. A lot of it that I wrote a year ago. So yeah, there's that. So that's kind of covers the feature work area that is kind of technical and what I do. Second is support or bug fixing. This is a very vital area. Again, really important, mainly because you're fixing bugs that are affecting your customers. Whether those customers are internal or external, doesn't matter, right? You're fixing things which are really important. And the other thing is, it's pretty good for you and your knowledge because you're working on areas of your company's code which you would normally not touch. Maybe areas you'd never want to touch again after you fix the bug. For me, I work support once every 2 weeks, I would say. Mainly because, the size of the company and the limited amount of bugs that we... No, I'm lying to you. The size of the company means that we get to work at support, once every 2 weeks, which is good. Gets me to, experiment, fix bugs, sometimes hand them off to other people. So that's bug work, or support, whatever you call it. Number 3 is reviewing PRs. Right, this again is a very important part of my job for a few different reasons. The first one is because it's a great way to learn, right? You get to read code, try and understand code that others have written. It's a great way to just pick up some knowledge. Not only that, you get to ask your colleagues questions or leave comments or feedback around things you understand or don't understand, right? And it's a great way to start a conversation with the person who's done the work. Not only that, you get to unblock them, which they love. I mean, I love it when someone reviews my PR, leaves a green tick. Not necessarily when they leave a lot of comments. It's a different topic. So I tend to review PRs regularly. I don't think I do it as much as I'd like to, having had a look at how many I've done recently. So maybe that's something that I want to improve on, hopefully. But that's reviewing PRs. That's another part of my work. Fourth one is pairing, right? I love this, by the way. It could be pairing with someone in your own team, could be pairing with someone in another team. I've been doing this a lot recently, mainly because I'm working on areas that I have no idea about. But it's great because you get to interact and work with other people. Now, we do this often. I don't think we do this a lot, but I know of companies that don't do any pairing, and that's not good, right? Especially in a time like this. So, yeah, that's the fourth thing, and that kind of rounds up all of the things I would consider technical in my job. And the reason I would consider them technical is because they kind of require me to know, or know how to code, or know how to read code, etc. So that's kind of the four pillars of my technical work. This brings us to the second part, which is the non-technical work, right? And let me break these down for you. The first one is deciding what to build. Now, I'm not saying that engineers get to decide what the company builds, but they do get to contribute on making sure we're building the right thing. If you're asking what is the right thing, maybe that's another video. Second is Agile ceremonies. This is retros, planning, stand-ups, grooming, kind of like a ritual. It's a bit of a cult, really. We do these on a regular basis, and I'm not going to go into details because Agile, you know? Then there's communications, right? This is not me saying hi's and hellos at the stand-up, but this is more around giving and receiving feedback. Here's me receiving some feedback.
So I have some feedback for you.
Yeah?
It's been brought to my attention that sometimes when people leave you a change request or a comment on your PR, that perhaps you don't always take it the best way and can even become perhaps a little bit...
Whoa. I always take feedback well. Sorry, I wasn't expecting that feedback. So there's that, but there's also setting expectations, right? Making sure you're all on the same page, because you don't want your product manager to announce a feature which is still days away from being ready. So I would wrap all of those things under comms, and that leads me to the last point, which is mentoring. I love mentoring. It's my favorite thing. I love being able to help someone, grow them into their role, and ease them into the company if they're new. It's just great, right? And it's not just great for the person, but it's great for me because I get some really valuable feedback. As a mentor, people are frank. They'll tell you when things are wrong and things are right. Not necessarily the kind of things you might always receive from your manager. So yeah, it's a great thing. My company does it. I love it. And I want to keep doing that for as long as I can. That's me loving it. So that's it, right? These are the type of things that I do at work. I would say I split my time between the categories 50-50 or 70-30, depending on when you catch me. Does that look or sound familiar to yours, or is it completely different? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one.